Thanks to LastPass for sponsoring a portion of this video. More from them later. Ladies and gentlemen, we build a lot of high-performance computers around here, but today is gonna be different. We scoured the internet for the slowest brand new components that money can buy, and we're gonna build it right here, right now. Then, for comparison, we also grabbed some sort of what I would consider to be budget components, but sensible ones, to see just how much more performance you can get if you balance your budget. Is that really the packaging for that? We're gonna get to that bit later though. First, don't worry, the parts aren't in there, it's already built. Let's roll that intro. Of course, my expectations may end up being subverted, and our slowest possible compute. Where's the CPU? Maybe this will end up being an amazing bang for the buck, starting with our AMD Athlon 3000G. So this puppy right here is a 3.5 gigahertz dual core. That's not real impressive for 2020, and making matters worse, this is based on AMD's older Zen architecture rather than Zen 2. But hey, for $55, plus it actually includes a cooler, I guess, you know, it's hard to really complain. Like, how is a CPU 50 bucks? For our motherboard, we've gone with MSI's A320M A Pro. So this is about as entry level as it gets for an AM4 motherboard. You've got just 2 DIMM slots, although that will be enough for us to run dual channel, assuming that our budget allows it, which it doesn't, because we're building the slowest possible computer. It has a PCI Express 16X Gen 3 graphics card slot. We will be installing a graphics card, and then you've got onboard video in case you want to use an APU, and wow, are those PS2 ports? Dang. No NVMe for us today, folks. We're not even using an SSD. Man, it feels like this should contribute to it being slow, but honestly, with just 2 cores, I'm expecting this to do a pretty decent job of cooling. I feel like I should clarify that the parts that we picked were not necessarily the slowest ones that we could find, but rather that we limited ourselves to things that are currently in production. So the slowest brand new and technically modern parts that you can build. Naturally, no slowest possible build would be complete without a single stick of DDR4 memory. The CPU does have a dual channel memory controller, but I mean, if we're looking for the bare minimum to fire up the machine and get into Windows, 4 gigs of RAM, that's it. Wow, you sure can build a computer quickly when there's like not much in it. We're like halfway there already. Between our CPU, motherboard, and RAM, we've spent $125. That's less than like a gaming motherboard. But while you guys might think that I'm impressed by that, I'm actually kind of worried for the prospects of our slowest possible computer here, because CPU, RAM, and motherboard on the secondhand market, hoo-wee! Let me tell you, I could get some better stuff than that. You know, that's what kind of drives me crazy about this entry-level hardware as it gets branded. Really what it is, in my opinion, basically e-waste. Because you might say, well, you know, not everyone wants to put the work into putting together something secondhand, but it's not even a ton of work. I mean, we did that video recently where we took an old Dell Optiplex, basically threw a graphics card in it for less than what we're gonna spend on this complete brand new machine. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, this thing is gonna run, what's the opposite of running circles around something? For our case, we've got a Thermaltake H17, which at the time was priced the same as the Deepcool Matrix that we had originally chosen, so $35. Point is, that's about the cheapest you can get unless it's on fire sale for a brand new computer case. And then for our power supply, we've got a Corsair CV550. This is your entry level, hey, I don't want my computer to blow up, that would be a bad thing, kind of power supply. Like, you can get power supplies for $13 or whatever, but even on a system like this, I would not recommend plugging them in. I mean, what's the point of ruining stuff? Huh, 4 whole screws to put in the power supply. Jeepers. Oh, just need to rehydrate. lttstore.com. So this is cool. Kind of like an SSD, except just with some rubber grommets. You just mount your hard drive like that. Should I put in all the screws? I mean, there's really not that many of them. We had a second fan that we intended to install in this puppy, but I don't think we're gonna be doing that because there is only a single fan header aside from the CPU fan header on this motherboard. More simplicity. Boom. Fan installed, cable managed. This is actually pretty nice for a budget case. Hey, wow, we've got USB 3 on both our case and motherboard. I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. You can just take all of these little individual pieces and kind of make your own block of connectors. And if you line it up just right, put it on just like that. Ow, oh, dang it. I stabbed my thumb. I'm good, fine. 24-pin power connector, just like that. You can see instead of an 8-pin power connector on this board, we've got just a 4-pin, so we're gonna split apart our 8-pin power connector and just pop half of it into there. This is crazy. Like, if I was actually trying to speed build this, I think I could do it in under 5 minutes. And now, for the pièce de la résistance, our Zotac GT210. This was a slow graphics card when I was still working at NCIX. That was like 8 years ago. You could still buy them. I don't even get it.
Why?
People who buy a card like this don't care about performance at all, or they get kind of screwed into it because they don't know that the performance of a $50 card is not half of the performance of a $100 card. I remember talking to Zotac about these cards back when I was working at NCIX. I was like, well, who the crap is buying these things? They're like, oh, well, you know, Best Buy is moving through them by the truckload. And I was like, well, why are there salespeople selling these to them? It's a terrible value. Point of clarification, this is 40 US dollars, not 50, and it's still a bad deal. Yeah, for a 35 US dollar case, I'm liking it. Crazily enough, that was it. By the way, the keen-eyed among you might have noticed that we had an ATI Radeon fan installed on that graphics card. That's because we weren't gonna go out and buy another GT210 just to make this video. It's one that we already had, and it's one that the fan failed on a long time ago, and we just kind of threw whatever on there as long as it runs cool enough. Time to fire it up. Oh, I miss little whiny GPU fans. Hope it works. That took a hot minute to post, didn't it? Let's fire up some CSGO, shall we? And while we wait for the game to load, because that'll probably take a minute on the mechanical drive, we're gonna go ahead and pull out our better value gaming PC here. Our slowest PC came in at a price of just over 300 US dollars, while our step-up model came in at just under 600, which is a pretty substantial increase. We are spending almost twice as much, but we're also getting more than twice as much computer. So we're going all the way up to a Ryzen 3100, which happens to be based on their Zen 2 architecture. That is gonna be a big performance boost for gaming. We managed to double our RAM, going from 4 to 8 gigs, which also means now it's running in dual channel mode. We've got a more feature-rich motherboard, and a big amount of our budget was spent on this puppy right here. So we've gone with an RX570, which is maybe, you know, last gen at this point, but still a very, very respectable budget gaming card if we're running at 1080p. Already, just how much faster it boots up and launches games is a huge difference for this one. But of course, that's what happens when you spend a little bit of extra on an SSD. And the funny thing about an SSD is that these days, it doesn't actually cost that much extra. If you look for the right deal, we got our Fatty Dove Racing 120 gig SSD for 20 bucks. 8x anti-aliasing ain't happening. Let's see if that helps a little bit. I'm gonna set the settings over here the same. Oh man, this one defaulted to 4K. Oh, lordy. Why? Is that still loading? Holy crap. 150, 60, 70. 200 FPS. Yep, this feels pretty good. All right, this one's loaded up now. Let's just make sure the resolution's right. And this, kids, is why friends don't let friends buy entry-level graphics cards. We are getting 10 FPS, my ladies and gentlemen. We're charging in though, we're charging in! We might hit something. I got one. 10 FPS gaming, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, come on! But Fred's got it out for me. So the lesson we're learning here is that spending twice as much can yield more than just twice the performance improvement. In this case, we're looking at about anywhere from 15x to 20x the performance at the same settings. And I actually missed another thing that is twice as fast about our higher end system. It's got USB 3 10 gig instead of 5 gig. So if you really wanted to transfer things, quickly over USB, you could do that. Oh no, there's a first time setup on this one. While we wait for that one to complete setup, we can go ahead and have a look at what our Rocket League performance is like. Yes, I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard. I'm sorry. Oh, I pressed jump instead of go fast. Well, that's a shame. Okay, so what are we looking at? We're looking at 100 plus FPS with a minimum of 48 the entire time we've been playing here. And that minimum is honestly more important to the gaming experience than that average is. Rocket League. Is this game just not even gonna launch? Nope. New plan, just for the sake of giving our slowest PC its best possible shot, we actually ripped the graphics card that wasn't letting us launch the game out, and we are running off of the onboard graphics. The problem with that is that we're running a single stick of memory, because it's a bit of a misconfigured machine, and now our APU graphics has to share memory bandwidth with the CPU, which was already half of what it ideally would be. 15 FPS in the menu.
Big oof, Linus.
That's the same settings as the other one. Oh boy. Having the game run in slow motion like this is actually kind of nice because it's not an online match, so I think the game is actually running slow. Finally, let's go for a good old-fashioned Cinebench drag race. Are you even trying? Maybe it didn't register. And 1, 2, 3, go. I think we've all seen enough, and I think we've all learned the lesson that we're trying to teach here. Just because something is brand new off the shelf doesn't mean that it is a viable option for building a system. And you might say, well, look, I've only got $50 to spend on a CPU. And that's fine, and that's fair. But your best option at that point is to go back and look for something on the secondhand market that is gonna give you a better experience than this. Literally a fraction of the speed of even a value chip like the Ryzen 3 3100, which really is a fantastic CPU for the money. The other thing is graphics. You know how there's a point of diminishing returns when you go into the very high-end stuff? Well, there's a point of diminishing returns at the low end as well, and it's something people don't really think about. So I would give the same advice there. In fact, I don't want you to get discouraged if you've only got $300 to spend on a new computer. What I want you to do is head down to the comments where some of our savvy bargain hunter viewers are gonna post some great spec lists that they think they can put together for $300, because I guarantee you, if you head up eBay, Craigslist, and all those kinds of places, it can be done. Now for the portion of this video that is sponsored by LastPass. LastPass is the password manager that I use, and honestly, whether it's for personal use or for our corporate use, I absolutely love it. The corporate version has all kinds of tools that we can use to manage access to all the different accounts, and not just accounts, but little notes or credit card numbers or anything else that our staff needs access to, no matter where they are, and to do it securely. And then for personal use, well, it's great. Whether I'm using a PC, an Android phone, or an iPhone, all I've got to do is enter one password and everything that I need is right at my fingertips. I'm gonna just check and see if there's any talking points that I'm just talking about what I like about LastPass right now. Oh yeah, it's way more secure because that way you only have to remember one really strong passphrase and you never have to use duplicate passwords because let's face it, who can remember all the literally hundreds of passwords that you have to have these days? LastPass autofills your credentials through browser extensions or apps on mobile, and if you go to LastPass Premium, they've got advanced features like multi-factor authentication options and emergency access. So go check them out at the link in the video description. I've been using them for years. I've been super happy. Thanks LastPass for being awesome, and thanks LastPass for sponsoring this video. If you guys enjoy this sort of thing and you're looking to maybe go a little bit deeper than the comments on this video to build a great value gaming rig, maybe check out our This is a Gaming Rig, where we converted a Dell Optiplex into a very viable gaming solution.